Soul Eater is 100% without a doubt my favorite manga of all time. We don't talk about the anime. Anyways, there are a lot of things that put Soul Eater at the very top of my list, like its art style, power system, or story. But there's one aspect that cements it as my number one, that being its main cast, which I happen to think is absolutely perfect. Before we hop straight in, let's go over some phrases that I'll be using throughout the video. The first one is demon weapon or weapon partner, and that is a character who can shapeshift into a weapon. And the second one is Meister, and that is a character who wields a demon weapon. The main cast of Soul Eater includes 7 characters. For those who say it's only 3, I'll get to that in a second. The 7 in question are Maka Albarn, Soul Eater Evans, Blackstar, Tsubaki Nakatsukasa, Death the Kid, Liz Thompson, and Patty Thompson. Maka, Blackstar, and Kid are usually considered the 3 main characters, but their weapon partners are so important to them, so I'm counting them as well. Before I tell you why this is my favorite main cast in anime, I'll give you a short breakdown of each character. First up, we have our main character, Maka Albarn. Maka is a Scythemeister and for the most part is your standard goody two-shoes teacher's pet type of character, but will break the rules in order to fulfill a personal goal every now and then. And she also tends to have a bit of a short temper. She holds herself to an incredibly high standard, so she's hardworking and headstrong, and she also hates her dad.
無理。私パパのこと父親だなんて思ってないから。
Second, we have Maka's weapon partner, my favorite character, and the namesake of the series, Soul Eater Evans. Soul is a demon weapon and is incredibly laid back compared to his Meister Maka, and can be rather dumb and rowdy at times. Over the course of the manga, Soul seems to mellow out and become a voice of reason of sorts. Earlier in the manga, Soul is obsessed with being a cool guy and chooses his actions accordingly. He's extremely protective of his Meister and is always prepared to sacrifice his life for her. There's honestly so much more I could say about Soul, but I'll stop here. Third, we have our deuteragonist, Blackstar. Blackstar is a rowdy, arrogant, attention-seeking ball of pure idiocy, chaos, and badassery. He's extremely confident in himself and his partner, and is usually the first to jump into a fight. Although he seems to be completely selfish and unaware of the people around him, he cares for his friends greatly. Once he has his mindset on their goal, there's almost nothing that can stop him. Fourth is Tsubaki Nakatsukasa, Blackstar's weapon partner. Tsubaki, being the oldest of the group, is one of the more mature and level-headed characters. Being the partner of the Agent of Chaos, Blackstar, means she has to be willing to go with the flow and adapt to any situation at almost any given time. That being said, whenever things are getting too hectic to the point where her life is in danger, she's able to put her foot down and become a voice of reason for her younger friends. Next, we have the tritagonist of the series, Death the Kid. Kid is a very uptight character, especially compared to Blackstar or Soul. He's extremely powerful and holds himself to an even higher standard than Maka does, since he is the son of the Grim Reaper. Even though Kid is basically the son of God, he's not incredibly arrogant when talking to the rest of the group and treats them as his friends. He also has a weird obsession with symmetry.
おいパティ、お前少し立ち位置がずれてるぞ。
Lastly, we have Liz and Patty Thompson, Kid's 2 weapon partners. I'm putting these 2 together because they basically can't exist without each other in a way. They're basically 2 sides of the same coin. Liz is the older and more mature of the 2 sisters, while giving off a more moody attitude most of the time, while Patty, being the younger sister, is a bit more airheaded and more cheerful than Liz. Since they're sisters, they're able to use each other as weapons in a situation where Kid is absent. Now that we got character introductions out of the way, let's talk about the relationships between the Meisters and the weapons. From very early in the manga, literally chapter 1, it's clear that Maka and Soul are very close and make great partners. They're willing to sacrifice anything for the other and feel a great amount of guilt if one happens to get hurt on the other's watch. Maka wants to become a better Meister so he can wield Soul better, and Soul wants to be a better weapon so he can protect Maka. I think it's very obvious that Blackstar has a dominant personality in this partnership, but Tsubaki is more than happy to take Blackstar's lead in almost any situation they get into. However, Tsubaki doesn't hesitate to defy Blackstar if he's putting himself in danger. Given that, Black Star is happy to let Tsubaki take charge at times and will support her all the way through. A way that I like to put it is that Tsubaki is quite possibly the only person in the world versatile enough to handle him. Liz and Patty both share a great admiration and respect for Kid since he's helped them improve their lives so much. And Kid benefits from having two people so different from himself around him all the time. They're also the perfect weapon partners for Kid because they're twin pistols. In a fight, he needs both of them to function. If one's missing, he refuses to fight with the other. Now I'm going to go over some of the less clear-cut relationships between the main seven. Black Star and Death the Kid are the rival duo of this series. Black Star is a warrior who wants to surpass the gods, and Kid, being the Grim Reaper, is the perfect rival for Black Star. Kid is not only the one character in the main cast who can handle Black Star in combat, but has actually defeated him twice. Black Star uses Kid as a measuring stick of sorts when he's feeling unsure about his power after he loses multiple fights in a row. These two are also the only ones in the main cast who get into multiple physical fights. Soul and Black Star are more of a comedic duo than anything else. There aren't really any serious moments in between the two, but it's conveyed pretty well and pretty early that they're good friends and share a lot in common. They're also responsible for a lot of the funniest moments in the series.
お前は研究所で答えを見たんだな。それを俺に伝えようと。任せろ。お前の意志は俺が継ぐぞ。
Maka and Black Star are the only ones in the main cast who have gotten into an actual serious argument due to their personalities clashing. They're good friends, but they're too different to be left in the same room together for too long. At least it's that way earlier in the series. After their one falling out, they have no real arguments for the rest of the manga. They care about each other, and it's especially evident within Black Star, who has gone out of his way to find the person who had previously defeated Maka to get revenge for her.
殴り方分かってる？
誰に言ってんだ？食いしばっとけよ。
To wrap up the video, I'm going to give the concrete explanation as to why this is my favorite main cast in anime. To be honest, it's really because they're all friends. They actually hang out as a group and talk when there's nothing going on. There's no constant annoying hatred from one character onto another. Like, I'm pretty sure Soul and Tsubaki have less than 5 interactions throughout the entire manga, but it doesn't matter. Not every character has to have an intricate relationship with each other. I'd much rather have two characters not interact much but know they're friends than just constant arguing. It makes it a lot easier to enjoy a story with this many different characters in the main cast when those characters are all getting along and supporting each other instead of dragging each other down. Any conflict between characters is important and will end up moving the story along. It's also very satisfying to see this many characters grow physically and emotionally over the course of the series. And that is why I think Soul Eater has a perfect main cast.